So for this example, now we have two tables. Each table has data, which is the time of the runners, the female runners. Okay. And it's divided into classes, groups, as you can see. First group is like two runners with a time between 55 and 65. Then the second group is the runners with the time 65 to 70 seconds. We have 25 runners and so on. Type. If we compare the two tables, what's the difference? Do you notice anything different between the two tables?
Let me look.
Have a good look كده and tell me if there is something different.
One of them for the 60, one is 65 to 70.
Yes.
And the other one 66 to 70.
Yes, correct.
They all added one.
Yes. So here, this is called the first class or first group. Okay. So this is the first class or first group. تمام? These values are called the boundaries. Okay, of the class boundaries. هنا we have the end of this class is 65, which is the same value of the second class, second group. Okay, so we have 65, and the next one starts with 65, ends up with 70. The next one, the third one, starts with 70. Okay, so we don't have gaps. يعني we don't have gaps. يعني for this one, there is no gap. It ends up the first group. It ends up with 65. The second one starts directly with the same value. While in the second table, there is a gap. How? As you said, the first one ends up with 65. The second one starts with 66. So my question is, how about a runner? How about a runner with time 65.4? She belongs to which group? To this one or that one?
65.4?
Yeah, it's not clear.
None,
it's not clear.
Because max 65, so?
Here, the maximum 65. And the next group starts with 66. So any runner with 65.4, 65 her time, yani, 0.7 and so on, is not clearly identified where this runner would be belonging. Yani, would she belong to the first group or the second one? Okay.
Second. Wait, 65.4 or 65.5? Because we'll round it up then.
No, without rounding. I'm not saying round. It's without rounding. If I'm saying someone with 65.4 seconds.
No, then she will belong to the 65 group.
Why?
65.4 is closer to 65 than 66.
No. According to this data, the group here is between values 55 and 65. That's it. Yeah, 65.1 حتى doesn't belong to this group. Doesn't belong to this group. خلاص?
Okay.
And this group starts with 66. So this one will cause a problem. That's why we say in this table we have gap. And in case of gap, we change the boundaries. Pay attention. يعني we change the boundaries. يعني we write new boundaries. For example, for the first group, for the first class here, we minus a half from this value and we add half to that one. يعني إيه؟ يعني we will say the class boundary here would be 54.5. We minus half from this one. And we add half to 65.5. To 65, I mean. So we get what? 65.5. This means that if you have 65.4, she will belong where? To the first group. Why? Because we have changed the class boundaries. The class boundaries are not 55 and 65, the given class boundaries. لا. We add half, we add 0.5 here, and we subtract 0.5 from the 55. Okay, so the blue numbers here are what? These numbers are called what? Class boundaries. Class boundaries. They are called what?
class
class
boundaries.
boundaries. We always do this when we have gaps. Okay, when we have gaps. خلاص? So if I
Okay.
ask you what's the class boundaries of this group, you would say what?
Which one?
The third.
70.5 to 75.5.
The class boundary is 70.5, yes, to 70.5. Very good.
Fine.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That's correct. Okay, so you get it now. Type. Now let's see the questions here. It says for طبعا for each of the tables يعني. Write down the class boundaries for the first row of each table. So they are talking about the first row, this one. Here, what are the class boundaries here, ya Adam? Can you tell me? Here.
Which one?
This one, first
Here?
table. First row, first table. What's the
نفس
class boundary?
الحاجة ولا
Huh?
54.5?
No, احنا we said we do this only if you have gap. Do we have gaps here?
No, so you leave it
65,
as it is.
65. So you leave it as it is. So if I
Okay.
ask you what's the class boundaries, you will say what? 55?
55 to 65.
No, not two, not two. It's just two values. Class boundaries are just two
50.
values, 55 and 65. That's it. So you write it this way. Class boundaries, you see here, 55, comma 65. It means it's just two values. Okay?
Okay.
For the other table, I already said it. 54.5 and 65.5. That's for part A. Part B, it says, what is the midpoint and the class width for the first row? Let's do the midpoint first. How would you get the midpoint of the first row? To get the midpoint, it's very simple.
You add them together and then divide it by 2.
Yes, you add them together and you divide by 2. Same thing as adding them together and multiplying by half. Yani divide by 2 or you multiply by half, it's the same thing. Okay? So the midpoint would be what here? 60. Okay? طبعا you're adding what? You're adding the class boundaries. Be careful here. To get the midpoint, you add what? The class boundaries. For the other one here, how would you get the midpoint? You see, you add the class boundaries. You see, these are the boundaries. I didn't add 55 and 65 like the first one. No, I add the class boundaries. Are you following? So 54.5 plus 65.5 multiplied by half or just divided by 2. You get the same midpoint. So the midpoint doesn't change. حتى even when you change the class boundaries, the midpoint is the same. Okay? Now, what about the class width? They are asking for the class width. What's the class width? To get the class width, you subtract the upper boundary from the lower boundary, or the higher from the lower. So here, what's the upper and what's the lower? 65, the higher boundary, and the lower boundary, minus 55. So the class width here is 10. So if I say there is another column for class width, for this one, it's 10. Okay? For this one, it's 10. No, for this one, it's going to be 5. I'm sorry. 70 minus 65 will be 5. For that one, also 5. And for the last one, it will be 15. So class boundaries here are not the same. 10, 5, 5, and 15. How about the other table? If I want the class boundary, the class width, I mean, you subtract the class boundaries. 65.5 minus 54.5. It will be 11. So the class width is different when you have gap than when you have no gap. But midpoint is the same. You understand? You see? Yeah, it's almost the same table. You have 55 to 65. Here you have 55 to 65. This one has class width 10. This one has class width 11. Why? لأنه when you calculate class width, you calculate what? The class width of the boundaries. And the boundaries are here are 65.5, 54, 54.5. So the class width will be 11. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Difficult?
No.
Okay, Adam, يلا. You'll do number 3 here. Can you do it quickly, number 3?
Okay.
Yeah. And they say the distribution of lifetimes of torch batteries are shown in the groups frequency table below. First, write down the class boundaries for the second group. طبعا هنا we are not gonna here we want to find the boundaries for the second group. هنا do we have gaps ولا we don't have gaps?
هنا؟
Yes.
No.
What do you mean by no? This first class ends up with what? 5.9.
5.9.
The second group ends up with what?
6.
So there is a gap, right? What's the value of this gap?
0.1.
Yes, 0.1. So in the previous question, the gap was 1. When the gap was 1, you split it into half and half. صح? And I said you add half to this and you subtract half from the first value. Here you split this into also 0.5 and 0.5, which means the boundaries for the second group will be subtract 0.05 from 6. يعني do 6 minus 0.05. This will be what? 5.95. Okay? And at the same time, add 0.05 to the other value. So you have 6.9, add 0.05. So what do you get? 0.95. So these are the class boundaries. Better for class boundaries are what? 5.95 and 6.95. تمام كده? That's part A. How about part B? They say work out the midpoint of the fifth group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is fifth. So this one was second group. This one was fifth group. طبعا to get the midpoint first you need the boundaries. Again, subtract the same value اللي هي 0.05. Okay? Subtract اللي هو same value. 0.05, so this will be the boundary here will be 8.95. And the higher boundary will be 9.95.
9.95.
So if you want the midpoint, you do half and you add the boundaries. 8.95 plus 9.95. يلا work it out كده and tell me what's the answer.
8.95 plus 9.95 equal 18.9. Divide by 2.
Yes.
9.45.
9.45. So this is the midpoint. تمام كده? So class boundaries and the midpoint here. Clear?
Clear.
So here we have the measures of central tendency. They say a measure of location is a single value which describes a position in a dataset. يعني if we have a dataset يعني numbers, values. The measure of location is a single value which describes a position in a dataset. If the single value describes the center, it is called the measure of central tendency. يبقى what's central tendency? It means the center of the data. You should already know how to work out mean, median, mod. We studied this where in O levels. صح؟ In math O level. Mean, median, mod. Mean, it means our average. Mean is the average. Usually we write X bar like this. X bar. This is mean. Median is the middle value. The value in the middle. Okay. How you see? They say mean, median is the middle value. Mod is the most repeated value. Our mod is what? The most occurred value or the most repeated value اللي هي أكتر value تتكرر. طيب الافريج أو المين. How to calculate the mean? There is a rule. This is the mean. If I want the mean, we do sigma x over n. What is sigma x? And what's n? Sigma means sum. Sigma x means the sum of all data values here. Look, sigma x represents the sum of data values. كل الvalues, add them. Divide n. N is the number of data values. يعني how many data values we have. So this is a rule to calculate the mean. Okay, are you following?
Yeah.
Right. There is another rule here. We will also use it later on. They say what? I'm going to postpone اللي هو combining the means. I'm going to postpone this for now. Okay, just for now. Just want to give you an example. خليك معايا. Let's look to the problem. It says what? It says Priyanka collected wild mushrooms every day for a week. When she got home, each day she weighed them to the nearest 100 grams. The weights are showing below: 500, 700, 400, 300, 900, 700, 700. They say write down the mode for these data. احنا قلنا the mode is what? What did I say about the mode?
Most repeated numbers, so 700.
Most repeated. Yes, very good. طبعا my advice, always order the data. It will be better to order the data, especially if you want to find what? The mode and the median. Okay, if you want to find the median, the middle value, or you want to find the mode, it's better to order the data, arrange them ascendingly. So start from the lowest, it would be 300, and then we have 400, then 500, and then we have 700. How many times 700? 3 times. 700, 700, and then we have 900. Okay, they should be data for a week. It means 7 data: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now let's find the mod. You said it already. What's the mod?
700.
700. What's the mean? How to find the mean? Sigma x over n. What does it mean, sigma x? It means add them.
Total value of x over n.
Yeah, add them. Add all the data this way. And divide by what? Huh? You should divide by what?
7.
By 7. Yeah. Can you find this on the calculator?
Okay.
Yeah. So the average is, or the mean is 600. Very good. طيب, how about the median? How about the median?
1 second. The median?
Yes. The median.
Wait, give me 1 second.
How would you find the median?
It's the middle number.
It's the median number. What's the median number here?
700.
Yes, it's this one. It's this one. Why this is the median? Because to the left we have 3, the right we have 3, and it's exactly in the middle. So the median is 700. Very good. Can you do part D? Yeah, you will do part D. Yani here in part D, you have to say, after adding this data, what will happen to the mean, what will happen to the mod, and to the median? Would they increase ولا decrease? Yani for example, for the mean, what will happen?
Increase.
Yes, because we added a new data. So mean will increase. So we say, okay, mean will increase. Yani it will be a higher value. A higher value. First, we had the mean 600. We expect it to be higher, but you don't need to find it. No need to find it. They didn't ask to find the mean and the median and the mod. So that's the mean. How about the mod?
The mod, it will increase. I'm sorry to say the same.
Yeah, mode is unchanged. You can say it's the same or you say just unchanged. Okay, how about the median?
Median?
Yes.
It will decrease.
It will decrease, yes. That's it. You get it now? Very good. I'm saying we have another rule. What about if you have two sets? Yani two sets of data. Okay? Like set A and another set called set B. For set A, so we have set A and we have here set B. Okay? For set A, we have the mean x1. For set B, the mean is x2. This is the mean. Set A, the number of data values يعني is n1. For set B, we have n2. Okay, so two sets with two different means and two different data values, the whole number of data values, n. How to combine the mean of the two sets? How to combine the mean of the two sets and get?
We add them both together. We add them both together and divide by 2.
How to combine the mean of the two sets and get an overall mean? Okay, a combined mean. We use this rule. What's this rule? We say, okay, the mean of the two sets, if we want to combine the two sets, the mean will be n1 x1 plus n2 x2 divide n1 plus n2. n1, as I said, it's the number of data values of set A. x1 is the mean of set A. n2 is the number of data values of set B. x2 bar, that would be the mean of the second set. Divide the total number of the data values, يعني all the data values in the first set n1 plus the number of values in the second set. You get this?
Yeah.
Write it down. The example says the mean of a sample of 25 observations is 6.4. So this is what? This is x1 bar. We have the mean 6.4. What's n? n1 is 25. Then they say the mean of a second sample of observations of 30 observations is 7.2. So we have another mean for another set, that's 7.2. And how many samples? That's n2. 30.
Yeah.
Calculate the mean for of all 55 observations, yani for both sets. How to find it? We use the rule. n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar divide n1 plus n2. It's just very simple substitution. n1 is 25 into x1, which is 6.4, plus n2, that's 30, times 7.2. Divide n1, which is 25, plus 30. Work this out, you will get 6.84. You get this?
Yeah.
Okay, next point. We said this already. The mod, the median, and mean. Here they say you need to decide on the best measure to use in particular situations. Yeah, you need to say which one is the best. To use the mod or median or mean, which one is the best? طبعا this depends on the question or on the problem. Yeah. The mod would be the best. This is used when the data are qualitative. Qualitative means non-numeric. Yani, when I ask you what's your favorite country, what's your favorite color, you will not say 3 or 30 or 31. You will say blue. Germany, Egypt, USA, whatever. Okay, so this is qualitative, not not quantitative. They say, or when quantitative with either a single mod or two mods by model. There is no mod if each value occurs just once. Yeah, they say if all the values occur once, there is no mod. Type. When can we say median is better to use to measure a particular situation? They say this is used for quantitative data. Quantity means number, numeric data. It is usually used when there are extreme values. So if I have extreme values, okay, we use median as they don't affect it as much as they affect the mean. يعني إيه؟ يعني what does this mean? Now, pay attention, please. Pay attention, okay? Here, you see this example down here? This one?
Yes, sir.
I wrote some values. I wrote 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 7, right? And 55. تمام? And 55. 55 here is considered an extreme value. ليه? Because it's really larger than the other values. And you can see all the values 2, 3, 5, 7. يعني close to each other. Except for this value, it's really big. يعني, you understand? So this value is called extreme. It's an extreme value. Type. When I have a data set like this one, okay. So I have a data set like this one. And I ask you, what's a better measure to use? The mean or the median?
Mean.
Here, it would be the median. Why? Let me tell you. I want you to calculate the mean one time with all the values. يعني add all of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and divide by 7. So add all of them. Including the extreme. And I want you to calculate
it will be inaccurate.
The mean. I want you to calculate the mean without the extreme. Okay. So one time I want you to find the mean, including the extreme, and one time without the extreme. Yeah, I don't include 55. And this way it will be divide 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, tell me, what's the mean in each case?
Okay. Now we're gonna divide by 7, yeah?
Yes.
11.28, so just 11.
11.28 and 11.3. So you see the difference? Here the mean is 11. The mean here is 4. It's a big difference. Type. Let's calculate the median. Okay, let's calculate the median. But remember, to calculate the median, you need to put them in order. Yeah, I'm gonna order them. So I'm gonna switch the 3 and 4. I'm gonna put 3 here and the 4 here. So I want you to find the median one time with the 55 included and one time without it. Let's start with the 55 included. What's the mean when the 55 included?
11.3.
The median. I'm asking for the median. The middle value, the median.
The median.
Yeah. When the 55 included, these are 7 values. So what's the mid value? It's 4.
4.
It's 4. You see this? Are you following? It's 4. The median is 4. Type. If I exclude 55, I want the median for this. Now we have 6 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The median will be exactly in the middle. It will be here. Between 3 and 4. So the median will be 3.5. It's the value between 3 and 4. So without the extreme, the median is what?
3.5. Without the extreme?
Yeah. Without the extreme, yani you exclude the extreme, you remove the extreme, the new median will be what? 4. Now,
3.5.
yeah, now focus to what I'm saying. The median in the first case, when you have 55, it was 4. The new median, when you remove 55, it's 3.5. Is there a big difference between 4 and 3.5?
No.
No, it means the median didn't affect, yani removing the extreme did not affect the median. So the median is resistant to extreme values. While for the mean, having an extreme value had a big effect on what? Had a big effect on the value of the mean. You see, this is with the 55, this is without the 55. Big difference. Like in the median, there is no difference. So which one is better? It's the one without difference. It's the median. It's more immune to extreme values. يعني ايه more immune؟ يعني عنده مناعة للextreme values. يعني حتى لو في extreme value مش هتفرق. The median is the same. Will not change that much. You get it now؟ ولا صعبة؟
Yes. No, it's easy.
طيب. Now, let's say I have a frequency table. Are you familiar with frequency tables? Let me show you an example of a frequency table.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Let me الأول erase this. But then I'm gonna tell you about the frequency table. You see this table here? Okay, this is shirt collar size. You know what's a collar size, right?
Sorry?
I'm saying you know what's a collar size.
Yeah.
You know what's a collar, right?
Mm.
مقاس الياقة بتاعت القميص الياقة. اوكي؟
عارفه.
تمام؟ طيب. هنا they are saying for male students, okay, for male students in some school يعني Lee Y, I think this is an Asian student, okay, from some Asian country. Lee Y records the shirt collar size X of the male student in his year. The results are shown in the table. هو عمل ايه؟ He found that only 3 students are with the size 15. 17 students are with the size 15.5. 16 students are with the size 29. And 16.5 students are with the size what? 34. تمام. So the most repeated size here is 16.5. معناها most of the boys have a collar size this. Okay? This is called the frequency table. This table is called the frequency table. And we have the value and the repetition, the frequency. معناها how many students have the size 15? 3. How many students have the size 17? 15.5, 17 students, and so on. ده اسمه ايه؟ frequency table. تمام يا آدم؟ طيب, if I have a frequency table like this one and I want to calculate the mean, how would you calculate the mean?
Mean?
Yeah. You know how?
We have to multiply.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna add all the frequency together.
لا, we multiply each value by its frequency. يعني you multiply this and this. Okay? This way. X1, F1. This is X1 and this is F1. هنا we have X2 and F2. So we multiply X1, F1 and we add it to X2, F2. يعني we multiply all the values by their corresponding frequencies. And we add all of them. This is called sigma XF. يعني you multiply the data by the frequency and you add all of them. You understand? So this is the rule. And you divide by the total number of frequency اللي هي sigma F. Sigma F here is like N. You know N? The number of data set, the number of values in the data set, N.
Yeah.
Sigma F is the same as N. It's the same thing. Okay? So if you add 3, 17, 29, 34, and 12, you get the total number of sigma F. You understand? Are you following? Here, sigma F will be 95. Sigma F will be 95. طيب, so what's the rule يعني? What's the rule to use to get the mean? It's this rule. I wrote it down here again one more time here. Can you write it down? يلا, write the rule.
Okay.
طيب, they say find the mod. Look to the frequency table and tell me what's the mod.
Mod?
Yes, the mod here.
16.5.
The mod is 16.5, correct. So if I want the mod is 16.5. This is the most repeated value. Repeated how many times? 34. 34 times. Type, what's the median? How would you know the median? Now pay attention. What's the total number of frequencies? 95. It means how many students do we have? 95 students. Good. How to get the median of 95? How to get the median? You do it this way. 95, ask yourself, is it odd or even?
95? Odd.
Yes. It's odd. So to get the median, pay attention. To get the median, you do what? You add 1 to the median and you divide by 2. Okay? You divide by 2. تمام؟ ليه divide by 2؟ ال 95 ده التوتال number of students. الميديان value في النص. Okay, in the middle. So we add 1 and as if we are multiplying by half. يعني if half يعني 50%. يعني I'm looking for the middle value. If I'm looking for the middle value, I multiply by half. You understand? So you add 1 to the data and you multiply by you add 1 to the data and you multiply by I mean you add 1 to the frequency. You add 1 to the frequency and you multiply by half. Divide by 2 or multiply by half. It's the same thing. خلاص? You understand?
Okay.
تمام؟ طيب, if you do this, you get 48 students. This means student number 48 in this table is the median student. طب what's the size of student 48? Now, how can we know where the students 48 is there in the frequency table? Where is he? Add 3 and 17. That's 20 students, right? 20 students. So this is the first 20 students. Our student is 48th, number 48. Okay, add another 29. 29, that's 49. So our student number 48 belongs to which group here? He's here, somewhere here, right? Then this is the first 3 students, but then you have another 17 students, and then you have 29 students. So student 48 belongs here. It means the median is what? 16. This is the median. You get this?
Kind of.
Why? Why not? Again. To get the median, it's very simple. This is an odd number of students. So to get the median, you multiply. First, you add 1 to the 95 and you multiply by half. You will get 48. 48 معناها student number 48. If I'm asking about student number 1, if I say, what's the color size of student number 1? What do you think?
15.
15. طب what's the color size of student number 2?
15.5.
لا يا ابني, 15 برضه. واحنا we have 3 هنا. 3 معناها the first 3 students. The first 3 students have the color size 15. طيب, how about student number 4? What's the size of student number 4?
15.5.
طب how about student number 10?
15.5.
طب how about student number 17?
15.5.
طب how about student number 20?
20?
Yes.
15.5.
طيب, how about size of student number 21?
Same thing, 15.5.
لا, not the same. Not the same. you have 3 students with size 15, 17 students with size 15.5. معناها student number 20 has this. Student number 21 will belong here. You understand? These two together, 20 students. So when I say student 21, you say he's here in this group. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Same for student 48. Student 48 will be also in this group. Why? Because if you add 3, 17 and 29, you get 49. معناها our student 48 belongs to the group of 29 هنا. يعني his color size or the median will be what? 16. Do you get it now?
Yeah.
طيب, how to find the mean? How to find the mean?
Mean.
Use which rule?
X1 and 1. X2 and 2.
No.
Over
X1,
N1
F1. There is no N here. X1, F1.
Oh, yeah.
Plus
X1,
X2,
F1,
F2.
X2, F2.
So you take each value, each size, and you multiply it by its frequency. So it's this way. If you want the mean, okay, you take the first value 15 and you multiply by the frequency 3. And then you take the next value 15.5 and you multiply by the frequency 17, and so on. And you continue doing this till you reach the last one. And then you divide by what? The total number of frequency. What's the total number of frequency, Adam, here? 95.
95.
Sigma F. If you do this, you will get the mean, which is 16.2. So this is the mean, the median, and the mod. Yeah, this one. Mod, mean, median, and mean. You get it now?